I'd like to introduce a man who comes to us from the Royal Shakespeare Company and known to American audiences as Captain Jean-Luc Picard, the man in charge of the Starship Enterprise, Star Trek, The Next Generation. Let us energize Patrick Stewart.
I can remember when talk shows used to begin with a little Mendelssohn or Haydn, and someone would say, "Good evening, and our guest tonight is..."
Yes. Haven't they changed?
Times have changed.
Oh, it gets so competitive and everything. You got to just come out of the box flaming. And we're so glad you're here.
It's delightful to be here. I had your people a little worried because I canceled the limo and then arrived late.
Oh, or they get crazy when you do that. So I'm telling you. Coming from the RSC, the Royal Shakespeare Academy, the company, you obviously have taken some heat from some fellow Londoners about Star Trek. Now be honest.
Curiously, not at all. Not from,
Really?
You thought I was going to knock over you. You think I'm going to do something wild
No,
with
no.
gesture? Just because I'm a Shakespearean actor, think I'm going to go, wow.
I thought there were the flourishes and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, last boy Yorick, I knew him well.
Yeah, I've been doing TV for 4 years and I've learned not to gesture.
That's true.
TV screens don't like gestures.
They really don't, especially with the close-ups and everything.
Right. No, they haven't. You know, for the most part, they have been delightfully amused and supportive, and I'm even inclined to say perhaps somewhat envious of what has happened. It's taken me utterly by surprise. When I arrived here, it's become something part of the Star Trek legend. The very first thing that was written about me when the cast of The Next Generation was announced described me as unknown British Shakespearean actor. And one of the wags on the set made a notice which hung on my trailer door which said, "Beware, unknown British Shakespeare."
Well, you've shown them now because, in 4 years, Star Trek The Next Generation is the hottest syndication product, the hottest one in the world, ever.
This is true.
Have you ever met William Shatner?
Yes, several times. The first time created quite an incident because it happened in the restaurant at Paramount where we shoot Star Trek. He had been dining with someone and I was with some of the cast, and the executive he was with brought him over to the table to introduce him to all of us. It was very early in the first season. After he had gone, he was there for a few moments and was delightful and charming. A young, suited executive whom, you know, are brought up not to show enthusiasm or emotion of any kind.
Absolutely.
You know, they have all the animation of an overboiled cabbage. And one of these guys got up and came to the table and said, "Excuse me, I saw you meeting, that couldn't have been, was that the first time that you two..." I said, "Yes, it was." He said, "My God, the captain met the captain and I was there!" It is a...
I picture him coming up to you saying, "Patrick, Spock, we must get better uniforms. We must."
Yeah, the Star Trek uniforms, there is a whole saga to be written about Star Trek uniforms from day one of the original series because, of course, ours have changed too over the years.
You know, the episode I saw, and it must have been hell for you.
Episode? You've only seen one?
Well, no, recently. No! You'd be amazed. I'm like a real Trekkie. I really am. For both the Next Generation and back in the 60s. And the most recent one I saw is a better way of saying it, Patrick. With you and all of these things, well, you were an android or you were a...
No, I was a... Yeah.
A Borg. You were the Borg, that's right. And...
That is B-O-R-G, not B-O-R-E.
You were a massive Borg.
Thanks a lot.
How long did it take to put that stuff on?
3 to 4 hours, but that was for 2 episodes. We have people today shooting on the set who are likely to be there until 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, maybe later. They're playing particular group of aliens, and they will be back in the makeup chair at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, because that makeup of theirs takes 4 to 5 hours. Michael Dorn, who plays the Klingon, has to do that every time he arrives on the show. I have the lightest, mildest, softest makeup of any actor on the show, so I get in 10 minutes before we work.
Oh.
There's much to be said for being the captain.
You have done for Baldness what Yul Brynner did in the 50s and the 60s. You've done that in the 90s. You've made being bald really sexy.
Well, thank you, Ray.
Wouldn't you agree?
That's not how you perceive me, but it's how...
Really?
It's how I'm perceived.
Because men are watching.
Well, isn't that good? Because you know, I lost my hair when I was 19, and it was horrible. No, I don't still have it. Yeah. For a while, I kept
and you
it
did
in
go
the top
through
drawer
that anxiety.
underneath my underwear, and you know, yeah, it was awful. I've told this story before on one of your colleagues' shows, but a very good friend of mine held me down one day while his wife cut off the flap of hair that I used to comb over here. You know that how they do that?
Oh yeah.
And when the wind blows, it goes like this. You know?
You get 2 strands, and it just stays up like that.
That's right. Well, they did me a great favor. He cut it off, and he said, "You be yourself." And well, I used to offer myself to repertory producers, where there's not a lot of money. It's 2 actors for the price of 1. I would have a toupee and say, listen, you don't need to employ a character bag. You've got me.
You've got you.
And then here you are, you have a juvenile, too.
Everybody's dying to see you at work doing what you do. So let's watch. Ooh. Patrick, you were talking to a Klingon. That's unbelievable.
I know. But is that the kind of man you'd like to have at your Christmas party?
Never. No. How did you get involved in the Christmas Carol? Because, Patrick, it's a wonderful thing that you do.
Well, thank you. It came about because I read it by accident. How many people here, come on, I'll be honest, have actually read the Christmas Carol cover to cover? I don't see one hand, but we all know the Christmas Carol. Everybody knows what the Christmas Carol is about.
I got it right here.
You do?
I got it right here.
What have you got there?
I wanted to do a little surprise because people don't see you doing this. And if you could just take a little bit of it, because the holiday season, to have Patrick do this for us.
Oh, my word. Okay, all right. Very good. This would take about 1 hour and 3/4, so let's start trying to kind of cut
Patrick
it down.
Stewart.
Can I stand up? Do we have
And the Christmas
technology?
Carol. Yes, we have it.
All right.
Hell, we can beam you up on this show, you know. So we can do anything on this show.
I'm gonna set the scene. We are in Scrooge's office, and it's late afternoon on Christmas Eve. Scrooge has a visit from 2 gentlemen. The clerk, in letting Scrooge's nephew out, let 2 other gentlemen in. They were portly gentlemen, pleasant to behold. They had their hats off and books and papers in their hands. Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley? Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago this very night. We have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner. At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some provision for the poor and destitute who suffer greatly at this present time. Many thousands are in want of common necessaries. Many hundreds of thousands are in want of common comforts, sir. Are there no prisons? Oh, plenty of prisons. And the union workhouses, are they still in operation? Oh, they are still. I wish I could say they were not. The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor then. Oh, both very busy, sir. Huh. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their usual course. I'm very glad to hear it. Well, Mr. Scrooge, under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind or body to the multitude, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat, drink, means of warmth. We choose this time because it is a time of all others when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. What shall I put you down for? Nothing. Oh, you You wish to be anonymous. I wish to be left alone. Since you asked me what I wish, gentlemen, that is my desire. I don't make merry myself at Christmas, and I cannot afford to make idle people merry. I support the establishments I have mentioned, and those who are poorly off must go there. But many can't go there, Mr. Scrooge, and many would rather die. If they would rather die, then they had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
That's it, Stewart. You got a one-man show playing somewhere. Where is it?
At the Beckman Auditorium, Pasadena, Caltech.
The Beckman Auditorium. If you're on the West Coast, Patrick Stewart is there, and the captain will gladly beam you aboard. Coming up next, Paul Anka. Did you meet these people? They'd love to meet you.